Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey, how's it going? My name is Nichelle Ohshells on all social media. Yes. In this video, I am going to basically just be talking about how I've been feeling lately. I went to protest in Newark this past Saturday. I'm going to be talking about what our role is in this fight. I have conversations with numerous Black women of different races, different backgrounds, cultures, men, of different races, backgrounds, cultures, people in my family, like a lot of conversation. And I realized this morning I really needed to journal. And so I started journaling. I probably filled up 4 to 6 pages. I don't even remember, but it was almost like I was in a trance, just getting it all out. And that's kind of what sparked me to make this video. I also was on live with one of my friends. I love her. She is like a mentor to me. And just we had a discussion kind of back and forth about kind of, Black women being the nucleus, how much are we supposed to be out there? Are we not supposed to be out? All those things. It was a loaded conversation. But in this video, I don't know if anything I said makes sense. Hopefully everything lands and it makes sense to the majority of the people who are watching. Would love your feedback. Please, please, please comment down below. If you feel what I'm saying, like this video. And I will also be having ways that you can be a part and help fight, down in the description box below. So let's get to it. Okay, so today I was journaling a lot with the murders going on, everyone's mental health all over the place. I really just needed to journal. I needed to get it out. I actually went to a protest / march in Newark, New Jersey on Saturday. And it felt good. It felt good to be out there. It felt good to see kind of who, is understanding what's going on. Of course, there are outliers who will show up to these things, these events, these protests, these marches, to troll, but overall, it felt really, really nice to see just the community. I've done a lot of work in Newark as far as events goes, just mixing and mingling with the people there. Like, I'm not from Newark, but definitely I felt connected to what's going on. I'm a Black woman, so it's like I just needed this time to speak about it. But yeah, so I went to the protest. There was people of all races, different, different backgrounds, just fighting for what's right, My mental health has been all over the place. I've been feeling like, when people are like, oh, there's like 15 tabs open in my mind right now, like at the top of each tab is racism. And so I'm trying to combat that with also like doing the work, right? And so going to protests, signing petitions, donating money when I can. Embracing the Crown will be donating from this upcoming sale straight to Breonna Taylor's family. So I'm really, really happy about that. Like, I'm happy that we're able to do something tangible for the family. I actually wrote some things down so that I wouldn't lose my train of thought. So that's what I'm gonna be leaning on for this video. But I just wanted to just talk, chit chat. I actually went on a few lives with a few of my friends to talk about our perspective, kind of how we see things. I'm a Black woman, right? And so a lot of the protesting and marches and fighting for Black lives to frickin' matter, and to, what that means, and educating people and not educating people, and needing a day off and then coming back and then going on Instagram. It's a lot. And then I come home and the conversations are like, we need to get deeper. Like, we need to talk more. Like, we need to understand what our role is in this fight in order to be strategic, in order to mobilize for real, I say that because I've also seen a lot of, wow, that was a lot. I've also seen a lot of people kind of criticizing each other on how they're either mourning or protesting. And I'm not talking about like, oh, if this is your friend, then they need to be out there too. I'm talking more about within the Black community. And I think that's pretty dangerous. It's like 100% accountability needs to be there, right? It's like you have to be open to being checked, to being told like, nah, that's not it. You want to make like, people need to be educated as we go through this. But I've seen a lot of judgment. And so I just wanted to also put that out there, that like being a part or aligning yourself with, well, not with the oppressor, you know, being anti-racist looks many different ways. And understanding your fight, like your role in this fight rather, is super important as well. The media and other outlets may not post all the amazing things that you're doing because it doesn't fit into the, you know, the storyline that they're trying to put out there. But I definitely urge people to less judgment, more meeting people with love, understanding, and education. But again, you have to understand your role in this fight. And with that being said, kind of brings me to the other point of why I really wanted to make this video as well, because I actually went on live. I actually love Instagram Live. If you don't already follow me, please follow me, because I do a lot of like just free speaking and talks with my friends and makeup, you know, days of the week and all different types of things on my Instagram. But we spoke, myself and my friend Allison. She has a podcast called the Femme Feed Podcast. And we spoke about kind of the overall movement that's happening now. She wanted my take on the protest that I went to in Newark. And then also we kind of segued into like, what's our role as Black women in this fight? And it was a very loaded conversation. Definitely go to the Femme Feed on her Instagram to really get the meat and potatoes of everything that we were talking about. But just to put it, you know, it's really not a long story short. There's no way to make it short. There's just a lot of work to do. And that's something that we spoke about. It was like, she kind of brought to my awareness, like, do you really, you know, it's like one of those things like, should Black women be on the front lines for everything, right? And should Black women be fighting for, you know, this cause? Do we have another thing that we need to be doing? Like, is, you know, Allison brought up the point that, you know, this is the time for our allies to fight this fight. You won't be shot. You're going to go home, more than likely. You know, you're going to be able to get back to your family. You know, she just brought that to my awareness, where it's like, for our community, it's time to really get silent. You know, we spoke about being silent and being like really in tune with yourself. Like I said before, I've been journaling a lot, just reflecting back, just to see what my subconscious is telling me. Like, free writing really will take you on a different place. And so I just started journaling a lot. And I was talking to her about that as well. And she brought up the fact, she was like, I'm so happy that, you know, you were out there and you were able to see kind of what was going on and be able to just speak on it a little bit, but also be mindful of the fact that, you know, nobody really cares about us, right? And so it was like in between this, like, we need to, you know, speak to more Black women. We need to start thinking about the traumas that we've been all gone through. We need to think about the traumas that have been passed down from generation to generation. We need to, you know, form more circles internally to really combat this trauma that we're seeing every day now, due to violence, due to police murders, due to, you know, just racist people and fear of what could be if this person lives. Oh my God. Like, it's just all of that, you know. She's like, we need to also play our role as the support, as like, you know, gaining that family unit, understanding where you fit in this fight. And I'm just like, that was kind of hard for me, because I'm like, I want to do it all. You know what I mean? It was like my response to her was like, but why can't I do it all? You know, and then we got into like the independent woman, you know, independent Black woman, what that means and where that stems from. And it was just a really intense conversation, but it was so like, afterwards, I felt so good. You know, I felt like there was a release. It was cathartic. I will definitely still be doing a lot of the things that I've been doing, as far as donating money, you know, going to protests, you know, things of that nature. But it is very true. Like, you have to be able to take care of yourself as well. This is a fight that we all are fighting, right? And so it was just like a moment of breathe, look around, think, you know. It's just like having that beat to like be like, okay, wait a minute, hold on. And I think that live that we did was so impactful because, you know, it started shifting the way people thought. Analogy that I heard on one IG live, I cannot remember this young man's name, and I wish I could, but I can't. It was on Joyful Wellness's IG live, and she spoke to him, and he was going into kind of his own personal life and just speaking about the different roles that everyone has played and what he wished he had. And it kind of like started making me think, right? The analogy he used, I love a metaphor. I love a good metaphor. So he used like a game analogy, right? Where you're in like a fighting game, you have your support, right? People who be having their headphones on, it's like support, where's my support? Like you have that person, and then you have like the tank, right? You have the machinery that is plowing through, and then you have like, you know, the fighters. Like, I don't know what the name he used for it, but we're gonna call it the fighters. And as I'm talking to Allison, I kind of introduced her into that metaphor that he used, and I'm like, well, so who's the support? Who is the tank? Who are the fighters? And that young man, he made a point to say that he had a lot of supporters. He had a lot of supporters around him, i.e. Black women, a lot of nucleuses around him, i.e. Black women, right? But what he was lacking were those fighters. Those, like, in his words, Black men that are Black male figures who were fighting the good fight, protecting their Black women and children, and showing that as the recipe, right? And so when I started talking to Allison even more, I'm like, damn, like, you have Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, you have all of these women. There was a woman who was thrown off her balcony in Toronto by a police officer. Like, I don't even know what, like that, like, you know, like all these different things. And I'm like, there are hundreds and thousands of Black women who are missing, beaten, abused. You know, Malcolm X said it best. Allison, I'm going to credit you for putting this back into my awareness, because we all know Malcolm, and he was not playing that. But he said it best. I'm going to just put the clip right here.
Protected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman.
And I was just like, damn, it's like, you know, but it's like, nah, but like, for real, we need to protect all of us. We need to be talking internally. We need to be fighting externally. Let me go to my notes. So I was going to say, understand your role in this fight. Stop judging and educate, right? I believe it's really, really, really important to understand the difference between someone who is passive, you know, someone who is like, oh yeah, no, I'm not racist. Like, oh yeah, no, I feel y'all. Like, I feel y'all, you know, versus someone who is like traumatized, trying to figure out what they can do, making, you know, their friends and families accountable, checking people when they hear something out of line about our people, you know, doing the block by block kind of method, versus someone maybe who is like myself, who's out on the front lines and on IGTV Live and talking right now on YouTube. And, you know, it's like, support looks many different ways is the point that I'm making. Fighting looks many different ways is the point that I'm making. And it's very important for us to understand what our role is in this fight. When we talk about mobilizing, or when we talk about becoming strategic, or when we talk about, you know, a change is going to come, or we talk about doing the work, like, it looks multiple different ways. And so I really wanted to push that. But I also wanted to say, like, we need to recognize ourselves, especially as Black women too. Understand that nothing moves if we don't agree with it. I was talking to Allison, and I'm like, a lot of it's both sided, because a lot of us, and I've been guilty of it too, kind of like perpetuate what's been taught, right? We kind of take pride in being independent and being all that we need, and that's, in my opinion, that's awesome, you know. And she was making the point that it's like, okay, but like, why do you think that you own that so much? Why do you think that that's just like powerful, you know? And it's like, what we had to do to survive, what our ancestors, what my mom or your mom or our grandma had to do to survive, we have to make sure that we audit, heal our trauma, and move forward in our own being, so that we're actually building on top of what our ancestors have done, right? And so I love seeing people of all races, colors outside fighting, protesting, calling DA's office, calling this state, that state, this mayor. Like, that is so amazing, and that is necessary. But I also think that healing is needed, right? Fighting is needed. Singing and dancing, fellowship, prayer is needed. Funding, bail money is needed. Accountability is needed. Talk to your friends. You know, this is another thing that Allison brought up. She was like, this is our allies fight. our allies fight. And I hear what she's saying. I'm like, you know what? I feel you. You know what I mean? Like, I dead feel you. And I would love for people to comment below, letting me know kind of how you're feeling, what your thoughts are right now. Like, I'm trying to, because, okay, let's back up, Nichelle. I'm getting excited, like not in a good way, but like I'm working myself up, because it's just like, there's just so much to say. And it's like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but then I keep going back and forth between like, who cares, you know? But yeah, it's everyone has a role in this fight. And the different perspective that I've gotten, not only from Allison, but other friends that I've spoken to, you know, Joey, Sid, everyone, like, our allies, this would be a perfect time for you to be on the front lines, because Black women are always on the front lines. You know, Black people in general. For me, I gave her the example, like, if somebody is disrespecting let's say an Asian man or woman in the store, and they're disrespecting them, I would be the first one to be like, what are you doing? Stop talking to her like that. Like, stop talking to him like that. Like, why are you acting like that? You know, we be the first to check everybody else, but it's like, who protects me? Like, who's gonna fight for me if things go left in my life? Who's gonna check in on me? You know what I mean? Like, and I hate to say that, because at the same time, it's like, I don't care. Like, I don't do things or go out or I'm not hot because I'm like, yeah, because they would do it for me. It's, I'm hot because this is wrong. Right is right and wrong is wrong, right? And this has been going on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, God damn, like, we're exhausted, we're tired, you know? And I speak for myself, of course, but damn, like, it's clear. So it's like, what is your role in this fight, right? So allies, be on the front line, fight for what's right. Right is right, wrong is wrong, just like Black women do all the time. Black men, like, are you educating yourself? Are you trying to heal your trauma? Are you trying to understand the power that you really have and how to use it strategically? Black women, are you talking to other Black women about the power within? Talking about why you're the nucleus, why you're the power source, educating on our history of our people, understanding that it takes, you know, it takes the Black woman to be the rib, right? I come from a Christian household. I understand there's some flaws when it comes to organized religion, and I'm super aware of it. But some of the analogies I use pulls from that source. So for me, thinking about a rib, right? Like, if you need me to breathe, if you need me to duplicate and nurture and grow what it is that you got going on as well, then you need to make sure you're pouring into us as well. You know, it sometimes feels like it's expected for a Black woman to be hard on the front lines, doing the work, everything's going, and no one is there to support her because she doesn't need it. She's strong. She's built like that. And it's like, damn. And so me and Allison were going back and forth, and she's like, bruh, like, it's not, you know, it's something to be said about that. And so for me right now, like I said, I was journaling. I was over here like, dear diary, dear Lord, dear Nichelle, future Nichelle. I like to write letters to my future selves, or write down prayers, or free write and then go back and like, it never makes sense, but I get it, you know? And I was just like, what is your role in this fight? You know, and I feel like my power is with my words and how I educate people. My power is within organization. Embracing the Crown, for instance, again, both our co-founders, they're amazing, amazing women. Reached out to the family, got the, yes, we are so like, thank you, you know, and that's a part of doing the work. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't been on Instagram all day. It's 1 o'clock. I can't get on Instagram right now. I had to literally become disciplined and obedient to what I need in my body and my mind, while also doing the work in the ways that I can. And so I just want people to understand that. Less judgment, more love and education. Okay. Now, there are multiple fights that we're fighting as Black people. And for me specifically, as a Black woman, it's very important for me to know that, like, we're all in this together, but we're not going to be unorganized about it. Right? There's a lot of videos on, you know, protests and riots and imagery and those things that are adding to the trauma and or adding to the awareness. But what I'm talking about right now is understand yourself, understand where you fit here. You understand me? Like, understand kind of like what you can actually do. Understand what privileges you have. You know, understand what privileges you don't have. Understand who it should be there to fill in those blocks. I gave her the analogy that it's a puzzle. You know, if I'm the rib, And you over here, if I get disconnected from the puzzle piece, the picture looks different. You can't breathe. There's going to be malfunctions. You're not going to be able to understand why, because it's subconscious. And it's like, I want to figure out ways to bring more of my Black people together in a strategic mental awareness kind of way. Like, I hope what I'm saying is coming across the way that I'm meaning it, right? There are multiple fights to be fought. There are multiple roles to be played. And I just want people to think about the roles that they are most easily in, right? Like for me, talking, understanding different perspectives, trying to tweak things, understanding like the family structure, the rhetoric that the media tries to pump in. You know, I've met people who genuinely feel like, you know, Black men aren't in the household, or Black women, oh yeah, y'all just, you know, you tolerate anything. Oh yeah, you got to build them up, or you got to build her up. It's like, let's build ourselves up so that we are 100, 200 fighting against the thing that's making us, or attempting to make us all at 10%. You know what I mean? It's like, I really want to work from the back end and the front end, but I know I can't do it all. And so I'm making this video just to put into everyone's awareness, like, understand where your role is so that you don't burn out your Black strong women and your Black strong men, and you actually use your voice and or your funds, your, you know, whatever you can in a strategic way. All right. If you guys are doing anything, promoting any, you know, virtual events, marches, in-person protests, anything like that, please, please, please drop it down below. You never know who's going to stumble across this video. I want to say prayers for all of the families that have been directly affected by racist and just being murdered. Like, what the I can't even wrap my whole brain around it. And it's like a everyday nonstop. I just don't even know. Like, I can't wrap my brain around how someone is comfortable with taking another person's life, period. But the fact of the matter is, Black lives never really mattered, you know? And it's like, you have to understand what we mean when we say that. Like, it's not about, but what about, it's not we not talking about that. You know what I mean? Like, but what about, stop doing that? Because you're making it seem like you can equate what I'm going through with something totally different. Like, it's a waste of energy. People are being murdered in the street. Oh my God, Black people are being murdered in the street. But what about, shut up. Black people have been hunted and targeted for centuries and centuries and centuries. So I just really want people to understand, like, audit what our ancestors did. Understand it. We know how to protest. We know how to get out there. We know how to, you know, who to speak to. It's about action and actually doing it. But then also knowing what your role is. Stay safe. Protect your magic. Grow your magic. Keep moving forward. Keep pushing out content that's helping people. You know, maybe refrain from so much of the imagery. I've seen a lot of people post both, all of the above. Like, diversify what it is that you're putting out there so that you are becoming strategic in your articulation of how you feel. You know what I mean? Like, I really hope this makes sense. I'm not saying anything that I'm seeing, in my opinion, is like, oh, don't do that, don't do this. I can't tell you what to do is the point. But it's like, for me and what I choose to do, I'm going to definitely continue to speak up, speak out, take a breather, log off, log back on, sit my brother down, talk to him about what's going on, ask him what his perspective is on the family unit, ask him what his perspective is on the system, what he knows about laws, what he doesn't know about laws, how it is that, you know, you can know all your rights and still be taken out. Like, these are the conversations that I got to have in my household. I'm talking to my mom about, you know, funeral arrangements. There's so much going on in everybody's life, right? And so less judgment, more love and education. Everybody can't fight and then get knocked down, because there needs to be people in the lab. There needs to be people in the woods, in that backwoods, when Master goes to sleep, and we in the woods talking, and in the dirt outlining maps and road maps, and how we can build up funds, and how we can buy back the block, and make sure that we also are growing our power as we are fighting against this force. Does that make sense? I really hope all of that made sense, because it's a loaded situation. It's a loaded fight. This isn't the first hashtag. You've seen those posts where they have like hundreds and thousands of names, and those are the people that were caught on tape. Those are the people that were recorded. Some of them will, like, some of the recordings have never even circulated. Like, it's wild to think about. It's scary as fuck. It's wild to think about, and it's scary as hell. It is scary. It's scary. I'm afraid. I'm scared. But at the same time, like, what? I'm about to just not do or say anything? Like, I really appreciate and love and see the different faces that are out in these crowds, that are speaking out, that are donating money, you know, posting receipts, holding each other accountable. Like, these are things that should have been happening, right? But I'm glad that it is happening now. I think the live that I was on really just brought more awareness to the many different strategic ways that we can kind of organize and build as the fight is happening, right? And so I just want to make sure no one gets the idea that it's like, work on yourself and then change will come. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying everybody has a role in this fight, and everybody has a gift and a power within them to make a better good, a greater good rather. And it's time to tap all the way into that. It's time to tap all the way into that. It really is. I think this generation, whether it was due to just being trendy or not, but mental health has become a huge topic of conversation. And I just feel personally blessed to be around a bunch of strong, amazing, talented, funny, graceful Black women who are able to kind of educate me, pick me up, having access to younger Black women, older Black women who don't think maybe like me, but are open to other perspectives, open to the idea of understanding where I'm coming from or what other people are saying and coming from. I love, love, love that. So again, please drop down a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Take a deep breath. Go drink some water. I'm about to do my makeup a little bit. Like, honestly, I almost didn't make this video because I just felt like my emotions were all over the place. And although I've already had conversations and, have posted how I feel and things, I just felt like, you know what, I need to get all of this out. I'm going to do more videos like this, just speaking about what's been going on in my own mind, kind of like a Dear Diary feel, it's therapeutic, and I'm praying that it does something for somebody, even if it stretches your mind a little bit to understand another perspective and to say, you just gave me an idea. Like, even if it does that, like, I'm cool. Like, I really am doing this just so that I can feel like a sense of release, on multiple platforms is necessary. I definitely want to continue to provide content that's going to lift spirits and make people feel good, but we're not going to sit here and ignore what's happening. Like, we're not going to do that, And so stop killing Black people for being Black. Black women, understand your power and understand your role in this fight. Black men, we love you. We've always loved you. Love us as well. Let's keep that exchange going, If y'all want to have a meeting about how we can financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, level up, I would love to have a think group like that. You know what I'm saying? Stop imposing fake gunshots into news clips. The usual. I don't want to get myself re-angry. But I really am glad for everyone who's watching right now. If you made it to this point, thank you. But again, please, please, please comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you're feeling. Are you the strong friend? Do you need to be checked in on? You know what I mean? Again, follow me at Ohshells on Instagram. I will be doing more lives. I want to go live way more to talk about different types of wars and battles that we fight as Black people, Black women. making sure that we keep ourselves safe and our families safe, you know, understanding that like judgment is a waste of time. Love and education is really what's needed. If you're a fighter, fight. If you're someone who is intensely, you know, educated, don't harbor all your information. Hold your friends accountable. You know, when I say educate, it's not like this is what you do when you see the police. I mean, like, this is what your ancestors did to build wealth in the community, and then they put that money into this building because it works out like this, this, and this. Watch me do it. See, I did it. Follow me. Let's get it. You know, it looks so many different kind of ways is my point. But protect your magic, be well. And let me know, you know, ways that you're fighting, ways that you're educating, ways that you're loving. I honestly feel better already just getting that out. You know, like, honestly, it feels good. Speak to people, speak to one another, get deep about it, get extra deep and strategic about the conversations you're having. Allie brought up the point, she's like, if you're gonna go and spark up with your friend, like, make sure y'all getting deep with that conversation, educating each other, putting each other on to black magic, just people in general, ways and different strategies to build yourself up, to build each other up. Like, there's so many different roles in this fight, like, you know, if on Monday and Tuesday you need to sleep and chill and cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner for your family, and then Wednesday you need to go to that protest, and then Thursday you need to not look at anything, Friday you want to just go to the park, and, you know, Saturday, Sunday you doing laundry, and then Monday you on IGTV, like, it's fine. It's fine, you know, but at the same time, like, don't just be out here doing nothing. Don't be out here just doing nothing. I was just thinking, like, damn, like, do I even want to bring a child into this world? Like, is it selfish to have a child knowing, you know, like, I don't know. There's so many thoughts that run through my head. Definitely need to do this again because it feels good to just get it out sometimes, you know? And like I said, like, I didn't know if I wanted to make this video or not. Wow, this lip is really intense on camera and I'm into it. But I was like, you know what? This comes naturally to you. Like, just do it. You know what I mean? Like, I needed to do this. I needed to journal. I needed to figure out where my mind was at. Like, I'm so tired, but I'm just not done, you know? Like, we're not done is the point. I'm just putting this little powder over my lips to calm down that red. Mattify it a little bit. It's like a blush. But yeah, even doing my makeup just makes me feel better. Like, but yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I definitely will be doing more of these chit chat, kind of just get ready with me, talking with a purpose kind of conversations. If you have any other topics that you're like, Michelle, I'm really interested in knowing, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Let me know. Again, I will be having all the information to how you can support, sign a petition, give funds in the description box below. I love y'all. I love you so much. I don't have to know you to love you. Yeah. Come back for another one, y'all.